Hello, and welcome to my landing course on one of the best tools I and many others use to simulate network behavior. My name is Sander, and I'm from Lofoten, and this year I'm taking a class called IKT Drift og Vedlikehold at Bodin Secondary School. I am 19 years old, and I enjoy learning about computer programs, the physical part of what is under the hood of the computer, and I find networking to be particularly interesting. Um, it's a lot of cool things happen at the school, so it's the right choice for me, I find. But that's enough about me. Let's jump into the program for today. First, I just want to point out that you can get Cisco Packet Tracer on your phone. As you can see here, let's see there. I have Packet Tracer on my phone. Now we'll open a window like that. And you can, let's say you want a router. You can put a router, and you can create networks. So far it seems very well made for Android. I've heard a lot of complaints about the iPhone variant though. I don't know. I haven't tested iPhone version myself, but there's been a lot of complaints about it from what I've read on the internet. So you you kind of have to take other people's word for it. I personally don't know. Uh, but that's not really the main program. I think that we should just jump straight into making, or rather showing you guys how to get Cisco Packet Tracer. Alright, for the next step, we will show you how to get the program. You should start off by going to netacad.com. And you see login. You can go over to About Us and click Packet Tracer. Here you can click Sign Up for English. I already have an account, so I won't go through these steps, but they should be pretty simple to do. Let's see here. I'm just gonna click Login and write in my password. Yes, and I can click Cisco Virtual Academy, Cisco Packet Tracer 101. That's not really what I want. What I want is to download Packet Tracer, which is here, 64-bit download. That's what I'm going to click on. And I'm just going to let it download now. Hopefully this is not too stupid. Hopefully you guys can understand what I mean when I know that pointing your mouse around can be kind of hard to follow. Yes, it seems to be downloading. And then this should open. Setups should start. This is Cisco Packet Tracer 7.0, by the way. Accept agreement. Who reads agreements anyway? Cisco Packet Tracer, yes. Create a desktop icon. For me, I kind of like having desktop icons. I know many people don't. Obviously, personal preference. Let's extract the files. Alright. Yes. Now it's starting Packet Tracer, and it should look something along the lines of this. Here we can click our login, do our little swoop-de-doo. Now, as you can see, I've created a network. Here I've created a network I would like to call, just because I'm not a creative person, I just call it Sander. As you can see, I have a router, switch, 2 computers, and 1 server. On the server, I'm running a DHCP that you can connect to either of these desktops. I rather the desktops connect to the DHCP. As you can see, it's getting fed an address on the 192.168.0.0 network. This one has the 5, and this one should have 4. Yes, here, as you can see, it's an operating system here. It's obviously not Windows because copyright. but here we could use an ICMP packet like a ping. We're not gonna. Well, I actually don't know if you can, but yeah, not. I don't worth a try. But anyway, what I'm gonna try to do is okay, we're on that computer. I'm gonna try to ping to the other computer. Most people that have seen this program would not be surprised the fact that this happens. I actually get through because green lights are pretty. DHCP. Um, this is the server pool I use. The pool name Sander, very generic. Uh, Here you can see I have my default gateway. Obviously no DNS is on, well I say obviously, but there's no reason for it to be a DNS here at the current moment in time. But if you in the future are trying to simulate a network, you might want to have a DNS on yours. I'd choose not to here for the sake of time. Here's the router. As you can see, there's a physical part to the router. You might notice that there's only one cable here going to the router, but I have what many would say 6 interfaces. I obviously only have 4 that actually can be used, which is these 2 and should be that and that one. Rest should be aux and console. But anyway, I only need the one that should be there if we could zoom in. No, it's this one I'm using currently. So you could say that I don't need this. Well, very well then. I could just turn the router off, and I could just drag this. I should be able to drag it off. Oh wait a second. No, I'm just okay. Yeah, so you can take it. It's very in depth. I just took off the backlight plating on the module instead of the module itself. But now I've taken the entire module out, and then I can just turn the router on, because obviously you don't want to use more than you need, because budget costs. So now I only have 2 interfaces. It should be starting up now. For the sake of time, we'll just fast forward, and all lights are green. But where do you get these parts? It is, my friend, down in the left corner. Here we have network devices. Here we have a bunch of routers. In network devices, I only really use routers and switches, but you do have a choice of hubs, wireless devices, security, and WAN emulation. We're not going to take a look at them now, though. But for the most part, only routers and switches are the important parts I use in network devices. But in end devices, I tend to use a desktop, a server, and in this case, I'm going to put a printer into the network, because who doesn't love to print, yo? Here we have home, under end devices we have end devices, home, smart city, industrial, and power grid. So this might not only be for normal networking. Here we have components. We're not going to take a look at these, but the multi-user is an interesting part. We did this in my class actually. One of my friends set up multi-user on his end, and I set up a multi-user on my end, and we were able to connect to each other, 2 simulators together, my computer and his computer together. And I could use, for example, this computer to ping a computer on his simulation. It's kind of neat when you actually see it happen, so I like it. But anyway, let's proceed. Here we have connections. Here we can get cables. It's a pretty neat thing here. It auto detects. For example, let's say I would auto detect what cable I need here and to there. I usually like to find the cable I need myself. This is the cable I would need. It's a normal TP cable. Let's plug it into the fast Ethernet 0 port, because that's the only port that's on the printer. And then let's just put it into an open port on the switch. Now it's connecting. It's connected, and let's just go into the config. And yes, this should be correct. Here, let's just choose where, or rather, write in what the default gateway is. which should be this. We don't have a DNS server, so we don't care about that. But the IP address on this printer should be along the lines of something like this. And then it automatically fills in the subnet mask, which is pretty neat. But now I should be able to ping the printer. Should be able to. Yes, it's sending a packet back. Okay, so now I've shown you how to add a module, or rather a device, to the network. Let's take a little bit of, let's say we wanted to save this one. Then we could click save, and we could just, for example, let's put it in my meme folder, and just call it Sander Network. Yes, now it saved the PKT file in there. You usually want to save quite a bit when you're using this. I've experienced it myself, and this program does crash quite a lot, especially at inopportune times. But anyway, moving forward, we can make, for example, a new one up here. Let's say we wanted to do that, and now we have fresh slate. I'm not going to bother making a new one. Yes, that's not what I wanted. Let's find the meme folder. Here we have Sander Network. Let's open that. Here we have my network. And the last things I want to show you is the things over here. Here you obviously have your normal mouse. You can click and drag. Let's say I wanted to move this around. You could do that. Here you have text box saying you can write anything you want here. I usually write the ID and the mask of the network on it. So the ID on this network would be 192.168.0.0, while the mask would be 255.255.0, for example. And I would just put that next here, and then you could write the interfaces, but who really gives a shit? Let's say I was let's say I was not happy with the printer. This network was made out of a real setup, but we removed the printer out of the equation. You want to remove the printer from the drawing as well. Here you can click the X and delete the printer, which is all nice and dandy. The printer is now gone. You can no longer one step closer to saving your rainforest. Here you could, for example, click and show the ARP table. Obviously nothing's going on here, so there's no real point of me showing you that, but you can see some cool things. DNS cache table. I don't have DNS, so here you can show MAC table, but it's not really showing much. I have very little setup in this network, so it's no point for me to do that. Down here, you can click power cycle devices, fast forward time. Fast forward time is probably one of the features I use the most, because you can use, if something takes a long time to program, you could use to make sure that you save time. Like, for example, rebooting a router can sometimes take a bit of a small amount of time, so usually you want to fast forward time during that. Here you can zoom upstairs here. Can look at them dense pixels, and as you can see, it's a very pretty icon. Can we get closer to it? Oh yes, baby, look at them pixels. Yeah, anyway, you could reset clicking that. But I think that's for the most part it. If you got any more questions, don't be afraid to contact me. My bark is worse than my bite. Hopefully I taught you guys something. And yeah, that's it for now. Peace.